Hello there, people of the internet. I have a Yugoslavian M48. This is my first M48. Not my first Yugoslavian Mauser, but my first M48. I figured that getting my hands on one of these would be good for the channel. Now, I'm going to go ahead and title this as an unboxing. Right here's the box that it came in. I went ahead and actually took it out of the box so you guys didn't have to sit there and watch me do that for 5 minutes. So this is the box it came in. It was wrapped in bubble wrap, so cool. Now that we got that out of the way, this right here is what actually came inside of said box. This right here is an M48, and we still have our Yugoslavian crest. Not a whole lot of finish on this thing, but I also don't see a lot of issues with the wood either. We'll go ahead and we'll have a look at the wood here in a second. I want to go ahead and show off not only the crest on this thing, but the lack of bluing in certain spots whenever it comes to the crest. You can see that the crest is one of the areas that the bluing is anomaly worn off. It's unusually worn there, and that's because whenever this particular batch of firearms was brought in, these came from Ethiopia. And they were not in very good of shape. In many instances, you would have issues with rust all over these rifles. And so what the Ethiopians would do, or rather the people the Ethiopians are working for, they would grind off all the rust and they would wire wheel these, and they didn't really care about what finish was left over. They just wanted the rust gone. And it looks like they missed a spot right here on the sight. The entire rifle would be covered in little bits of rust, just like this right here. Got ourselves a bit of rust there. The entire rifle would be coated in exactly that, and, well, it just kind of gets wire-wheeled off whenever they are brought into the country, and that is why we have issues with the finish on these rifles. However, even with that being the case, there's not that much finish wear on this particular example. And this right here is actually a C-grade example. It's an RTI C-grade example, and I'll be honest, this right here is not something that I'm upset with. Whenever I buy a C-grade rifle, I am expecting to have some kind of gunsmith special. However, this thing right here looks like it looks fine. I would not rate this particular rifle as a C-grade rifle. There's no cracks in the wood besides this little tiny separation we have back here in the rear of the actual hand grip, right behind the action. And even then, this right here is just a surface crack. That's really not bad at all. So that's not anything. Right here on the back of the stock, this side of the stock looks fine, but if we flip over to this side where we would have the rifle slung up against somebody's shoulder, we do have some wear on the stock right here. Right next to the butt pad. So besides that right there, the stock doesn't have any missing pieces, no cracks, no anything like that. Other than a little bit of finish wear, I'm not really seeing any issues with this rifle. We do have some finish wear up here on the actual nose cap itself. I'm not all that concerned about that. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could re-blue that, but I don't foresee me doing that. I like the look of the wood. I like the condition of the wood. I like the condition of the metal. Looks like we do have a little bit of rust up here on this barrel band that I'm probably going to clean up myself. So besides all of that, I have no idea why this particular rifle was rated as a C grade, because this is something that I would rate more along the lines of like a B grade. As a matter of fact, let me go grab my 2447. This right here is my 2447. And the finish on this is significantly worse. There's a big crack in the wood right there, but this right here was actually a standard run-of-the-mill 2447. It was not rated B grade or even C grade, whereas my M48 right here was rated C grade and is in significantly better shape. Much more finish on the metal, much more, there's no real wear on the wood, no cracks, no missing pieces, no anything like that. We even have ourselves a milled trigger guard and what do you call that? Magazine floor plate. Those are milled, and typically you would find them like stamped like this right here. If we're talking about anything besides the original style of M48, A lot of these Mausers were made to be a little bit more economic. I want to get my hands on one of those like last-ditch style of Mausers that have a lot of different stampings and whatnot. That would be a really cool thing to have on the channel, and I could show the different evolution patterns of these Mauser rifles. I'm going to flop this around over to this side right here, because one of the big things with RTI rifles, especially C-grade rifles, is a lot of people ask me, well, what about the bore? How's it going to shoot? How accurate is it going to be? And you know what? I'm going to grab myself an 8mm Mauser round, and we'll go ahead and bore test that right now. Alright, so, Yugoslavian 8mm Mauser ammo for the Yugoslavian rifle. The rifling inside this thing looks alright-ish. Definitely has some wear, but bore test, it does pass the bore test. We still have a little bit of life left in this barrel. I can see some bullet right there. Now, this right here is probably not going to be as accurate as my 24-47 that I have right here, because if we bore test the 24-47, we have significantly more life left in this particular barrel. Yep, right there is where our round stops, and we have significantly more bullets sticking out. However, we have enough life in the M48 barrel to tell me that we're probably not going to have any keyholes and whatnot. The rifling does come to the end of the barrel, and we can see that because our barrel still has a little bit of life inside of it. You can still see a little bit of bullet right there. I'd say that I can probably get another 2,500 or so rounds to this rifle before I have to actually counterbore it. Maybe more than that, depending on the types of ammunition that you use and how effective you are at cleaning and maintaining your rifle. So since I have my M48 and my 24-47 sitting here, yes, this is a 24-47. Yes, they did make them with bent bolt handles. People yell at me all the time to tell me, hey, that's not a 24-47, it's got a bent bolt handle. Those did exist. So I'm seeing a lot of similarities between the M48 and the 24-47. The only real significant difference, if we're excluding the things that were done for manufacturing purposes, is the fact that the M48 has like a Car 98 style of sling system on it, and the 24-47 has actual sling swivels on it. Besides that, I don't see any other difference. I do see one single piece right here for retaining the barrel band and the nose cap, whereas the 24-47 has two pieces right here for the barrel band and nose cap. Slightly different orientations of barrel band and nose cap, but besides all of that, they appear to be pretty much identical. Now, whenever I picked up the C-grade, RTI was having a flash sale. I always tell people to watch RTI for their flash sales, because I'll be like, hey, I got this rifle for XYZ amount of money, and then they're like, hey, I can't find that at all. Well, you didn't get it during the sale. But the M48 Mauser right here, I got it for $199 on that flash sale, and we have ourselves a decent enough barrel to be able to make shots without keyholing, and we still have a lot of finish on this rifle. I'm actually very, very pleased with this rifle. No cracks or anything in the stock, nothing significant. No marred up wear or anything. We have a functioning extractor. We have a functioning firing pin. The rifle itself is functional. I'm actually incredibly satisfied with my M48 versus something like this 24-47. Whenever I got it, I was told that this rifle would be completely functional, and whenever it came in, it was not. I had to do a bunch of work to the internals. There was something that was going on with that bolt. I had to use my milling and lathe machine to go ahead and get it functional. It was a mess. Clearly handmade Ethiopian parts inside of the 24-47 that was not functioning properly. So I got proper parts, and long story short, after everything was said and done, I got like $550+ invested into this 24-47. That's not the amount of money I would spend on a Yugoslavian Mauser versus this right here, which I got for $199, and then I'd say probably $230 after taxes and shipping and transfer fees, etc., etc. So I'm very pleased with this. This one right here, I was not overly ecstatic with the amount of money that I spent on it. However, the M48, I am quite happy for that under $250 mark for getting this thing home. Now, granted, the 24-47 has a much better bore, and it'll probably survive much more ammunition than the M48. But yeah, that's we'll see how that goes. We'll see if I can manage to afford the amount of ammunition that is necessary to shoot out my M48, because there's still some life left in that barrel, and I don't foresee us having issues with keyholing rounds. So all of this being said, this right here is just the unboxing. I would like to take this out to a range, but that would require resources that I simply do not have. So if you want to assist me with taking this out to a range to get some test firing done, then in the description I got links to Patreon and Utreon, or I'm selling some shirts. Go get yourself a shirt to help the cause, or you can do a one-time donation through the shirts page. So besides that, I don't think I have anything else to add. You guys see what I see here. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I will see you guys on the next episode.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.